Good morning and welcome to our daily Bible readings at the beginning of a new week. My name is Stuart and it's my privilege to take you through the readings this week and to share some thoughts with you that will perhaps challenge you, encourage you and be a blessing to you as well. Today's passage is from Luke chapter 6 verses 1 to 11, and in the New International Version it's titled Lord of the Sabbath. And in our passage today, Luke records two incidents that happen on separate Sabbaths. In the first incident, Jesus is with the disciples as they go through some cornfields. The disciples pick some ears of corn, rub them in their hands and eat the grain. In the second incident, Jesus is in the synagogue teaching, and there is a man whose right hand is shriveled. Eventually, Jesus asks the man to stretch out his hand, and his hand is completely restored. On both occasions, the Pharisees and the teachers of the law are observing very closely what Jesus is doing, as they are looking for a reason to accuse Jesus and ultimately to do away with him. On both occasions, Jesus challenges the Pharisees' understanding of the Sabbath. The Pharisees had a very narrow, legalistic view of the Sabbath and all its various regulations. Jesus is radical in his reinterpretation of the Old Testament regulations, and Jesus shows that he is not bound by the letter of the law and instead points to the spirit of the law. He does this by declaring that he, as Jesus, is the Son of Man and Lord of the Sabbath. Prince Charles has many titles, at least 15 and counting. Titles are attached to people by virtue of rank, office or attainment. In the Bible, Jesus is given more titles than a royal prince. In fact, there are well over 100 titles ascribed to Jesus. We come across two in this passage: Son of Man and Lord of the Sabbath. The Son of Man is a messianic title that combines authority and power with humility and suffering. Is Jesus' authority, power, humility and suffering reflected in your daily living? And then Lord of the Sabbath. It's biblical to have a day of rest, to set aside a day each week that is different. Traditionally we do that on Sunday, but it can be any day. But it is important to do this, but then to make sure that we make Jesus the Lord of our Sabbath. My prayer is that you will find a day of rest each week and make Jesus the Lord of your Sabbath. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow and trust that you have a good day today.